Hi, this is how you make a foaming mannequin. So here's some of the equipment that you'll need. This is 1/4 inch plastic tubing. There's a 2-liter bottle, a cap for the bottle. I'm using a box cutter for cutting. You can also use a drill if you have one. This is another cap that we use to seal the back of the mouth, and then more pliers if I need them. So here's our mannequin. This is the one that we use at the City of Phoenix. How you make it kind of depends on what mannequin that you have. So first I'm going to take off his face, and then he still has the lungs attached. So all I have to do is take that off, and then I'm going to pull out the lungs. Okay. The back of the mouth has this plastic piece that you can pull out, and all I really need to do to plug this up, and it might be different for you, is this cap right here fits like perfectly in the back. It fits pretty snugly. So if you don't want to permanently convert your mannequin to a foaming one, if you can find out a way to plug it up, then you can switch it back from like being a regular mannequin with lungs or to a foaming one. And this fits pretty tightly in the back, but if I wanted to make sure it was permanently sealed, I can also put glue around the edge and it'll stay in there. Another option is to cut open a hole kind of like in the side of his mouth that will lead the tube inside. But if you have the ability to plug it up, you can just cut a hole in the cap and then seal it up with some hot glue. I'm going to use a box cutter to cut a hole in my cap. If you have a drill, it would probably be easier, but box cutters are pretty cheap and you can get them at any hardware store. All you have to do is just push in just a little bit. The hole doesn't need to be that big. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same to the cap in here. Once you cut open your caps, all you have to do is put your tube through just like an inch or so, about that much. And then I like to use a hot glue gun to make sure it's sealed up. I think that hot glue is just a little bit more flexible. And if you use super glue, it's kind of a little bit more runny and it doesn't make a thicker seal, so it could crack and break. But if you do use super glue, once it hardens, go back and add in a couple extra layers just to make sure that it actually sticks. So you do the top and then a little bit on the bottom. And then if you use glue that foams, make sure when you're doing the bottom that you don't put as much, because then it can be harder to close the cap really quickly. That's it. Okay, and then before you attach the hose to the face, make sure that you're actually running the hose through your mannequin first. So I'm going to go through the back. don't need a whole lot of hose coming out of here unless you want the hose to actually pop out of the mouth. Just a little bit. I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue to the other side of the cap. If you don't really seal it up that well, then you're just going to get a bunch of foam going through the back of the head instead of out of the mouth and the nose. Okay, and if you cut a hole in the side of the head for the hose to run through, make sure you seal that up too. But I like to use a cap or some other kind of thing to block up the back of the throat instead of cutting into the rubber. Here's our mannequin fully constructed. I have the tube and the cap with hot glue on the top and the bottom so that the foam can't escape through where they come together. Then I'm running the tube up through a hole in the back of the mannequin and then through kind of like the side of the jaw. Okay, and then you can put the face back on. And you can see inside the mouth. Even with the modifications that we made, it still looks like a normal mannequin except with this tube running out of it. Okay, here are the ingredients that you need to actually make the foam. You need a measuring cup. I use 2 tablespoon measurings. Here's the yeast, a funnel, your 2-liter bottle, some hydrogen peroxide, and clear dish soap. If you use colored, then your foam will look whatever color that the dish soap is. Okay, so first I'm going to measure out 8 ounces of hydrogen peroxide. Directly into the bottle. And then you need 1 tablespoon of dish soap. And I don't like to use the funnel to put the dish soap in because then it makes it harder for the yeast to flow through the funnel. Just pour that right in. At 2 ounces of warm water, I stuck it in the microwave for like 15 seconds. And then I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of yeast. And then I'm going to stir it until it's not very clumpy so that it actually goes through the funnel pretty quickly. Okay, and this is the part where you have to work fast. Okay, so the foam is going through the tube, and we did a good job sealing it. It's not coming out. And then it's going to go through the back of his mouth and start foaming up. Okay, and the foam actually lasts for a good amount of time, so you can get a couple cycles of rescue breathing or CPR going. So I'm going to seal it, and you can see it's starting to come out the nose too. Okay. And then foam, that's a lot of foam, but it's not coming out through the top of the mask. You can still breathe through the foam.